Rickey Smiley Morning Show. Please welcome former South Carolina State Representative and CNN commentator Bakari Sellers to the show. Ooh. Yes. Hey, man.
Hey, thanks for having me this morning. Thank you.
Man, good job on everything that you're doing on CNN, and thank you for everything that you've done for the state of South Carolina and in the community, by the way. Appreciate you, man. Welcome to the show.
Man, thank you. I'm just trying to continue a tradition of living in justice and truth and freedom, and hopefully one day we'll get there, Rick.
Hey, man, so let's get right into it. What are your thoughts on Donald Trump's threats yesterday about using military force against protesters?
Well, yesterday when he came out of the church, let me just say a few things. One, he used tear gas in the military against peaceful protesters. And so I know George Wallace is looking up at him smiling because that's reminiscent of the 1960s with George Wallace and Lester Maddox, etc. And then he went over to a church and he forgot that Jesus was a brown refugee. And we know Trump doesn't care about brown people or refugees. Right. And it's just this combination, this mixture of hypocrisy, weakness. And right now we need a leader who has some level of empathy, some level of compassion, and actually gives people of color, black people, the benefit of their humanity, things that Donald Trump can't do. Now, also, he's not going to just roll the military out in streets across this country because it has to be requested by governors. And as of yesterday, do you know how many governors requested military support? 0. So wow. It's not this is another distraction. It's another bluff to attempt for him to show you how strong he is.
So I got to ask you this. It's not even on my question sheet. What is the mood of the country? Do you think he would get reelected?
I mean, I don't put anything past white folk in particular. It's going to be close. How do we harness all of this white hot energy? See, people forget, and this is what drives me crazy. People have forgotten that this all started because of another black man being gunned down in the street. People just didn't take to the streets out of thin air. People just didn't start to riot and protest out of thin air. This is not only about George Floyd and Ahmaud Arbery and Breonna Taylor, and now the young man who was killed in Louisville, Kentucky. But this is about systemic injustice and systemic racism, Ricky. This is about all of those things, and that was the breaking point. And so, will he get reelected again? I don't know. 53% of white women voted for Donald Trump last go-round. So you're probably going to have to find a white woman to give you the answer to that, because I don't have the audacity to tell you why that was the case. But I do believe that my kids are 17 months old, and I have a 15-year-old daughter. And they do not deserve to live in a country where Donald Trump is president of the United States. So I'm going to work hard to make sure that he's not reelected. But I'm not sure I have that much faith in this country.
Right. So you have a new book called My Vanishing Country. Tell us about it.
I do. So My Vanishing Country, it's eerie how timely it is. We start off talking about the Orangeburg Massacre, where my father was shot along with 27 others. And 3 young men were killed, Henry Smith, Samuel Hammond, and Delano Middleton, protesting the All-Star Bowling Alley on the campus of South State. We talk about me being the youngest black elected official in the country, and then some more downs, like being friends with Clemente Pinckney, who was murdered in the Charleston massacre. I'm talking about the pain and trauma of the black experience in this country, but I try to remain faithful and remain hopeful and show that perseverance actually matters and counts. And so it's a timely book because right now, Ricky, what people don't realize is racism is killing black people in 2 ways. It's killing us through COVID, and it's killing us through police violence. And it's all up front for us to see right now. Wow. So from your perspective, what do we need to do as a country to come together? So this is what I want you to do in particular, Ricky, with your platform. Anybody who comes on your show and tells people just to get out the streets and go vote, tell them to be quiet, okay? Anybody who just comes on your platform and is asking for peace but is not asking for justice, tell them to sit down. Like, we need concrete solutions right now. We have been voting and we will vote. But I can't wait until November to see change. At the rate they're killing black folk right now, Breonna, Ahmaud, George, the young man who got killed yesterday morning in Louisville, That's 4 people in the last 2 months. If we keep waiting, that's 5, 6, 7, 8 more bodies we will see with our own eyes between now and November. So we need solutions today. We need to talk about reforming police, a national database for police officers, so you can't be bad in one city, get fired, and then go to the 2 small towns down the road and get hired. We need uniform standards. We need to be able to sue police and bring charges against bad police. We know there are good police out there. I have them in my family. But the bad ones are the ones that we need to make sure we root out and root racism out of this system. That's what we need to do.
Yeah, shout out to Houston Police Department and Houston, Texas Police Chief getting on one knee and marching with the people. So a few police, I saw a lot of police officers take a knee yesterday in respect of, of all of the killings and George Floyd and Breonna Taylor's death and Ahmaud Arbery and siding with the people saying, hey, we work for you, we're with you. And I saw that. That gave me hope yesterday. Let everybody know how they can follow you.
Man, I'm Bakari _Sellers on Twitter and Bakari Sellers at Instagram, doing a blackout today, like most people. And please pick up My Vanishing Country everywhere books are sold. It's a story about our pain, our trauma, and I hope people will give it a chance.
Representative Sellers, who has that got a bird and a dog in the background? Are you at the zoo? I'm just playing.
No, man, I'm in this country. That's where I am. This is what it sounds like in the country.
Hey,
get you a yard, Ricky.
Hey, right. The whole while you talking, I'm hearing birds tweeting, dogs barking. I'm like, what is it?
Man, I'm not gonna let you take away my peace. This is what you call country living, man. We're gonna get you a yard. That's what we're gonna get you.
That's what you're right. You are absolutely right, man. Hey, man, thank you so much, man. Ladies and gentlemen, please give it up for former South Carolina State Representative Bakari Sellers. Thank you, man. We love you, man.
Thank you, brother. All right, love you too, man.